Hey there, and welcome to the Do Life Big podcast. This podcast is going to be your jam if you want to live to your full potential and don't believe in half-assing anything in your life. If we want to do life big, that means we've got to get out of our own way because we only have this one shot to make it awesome. I'm your host, Kathy, and I'm a mom of three whose BFF is cold brew, a retired school teacher turned online entrepreneur, and an author. I'm loud, bold, and will always keep it real. I'm determined to live my best freaking life possible, and I'm here to help you do the same. I'll be packing this podcast with tips, motivation, inspiration, and strategies to finally get you where you want to go. And we will have a ton of laughter along the way because, let's be honest, we can't ever take ourselves too seriously, right? I'm so excited you are here with me today. Now let's get this party started. Hey, my friend, what's up? And welcome back to another episode of Do Life Big. I am so excited to have you here today. Today, we're going to be talking all about how to break through that income plateau that you are at. Listen, I know it totally sucks. You're like banging your head against the freaking wall, trying all these different things to start to just bust through this to get the income growing in your business. And it doesn't matter what you are doing, it's not working. And now you're starting to second guess yourself. And I know that feeling because I lived that way, in that feeling, at that income plateau for 2+ years in my previous business. And it was absolutely horrendous. So today's episode is for you. If you are at that income plateau, you've seen some success in your business and it has not grown, and it's been at least 3 months, and you deep down know that you are meant for more. Like you really want this business to take off. You want that momentum to get going. You want that ball to get rolling. You want to feel the joy again, that confidence again. But now you're at this income plateau. So I'm going to be sharing with you things that didn't work, so that way you can avoid doing that, why they didn't work. And then I'm going to share with you my best tips on how to break through this plateau as fast as possible so that you aren't stuck for 2+ years like I was. So you ready for this? Buckle up. It's going to be a good one. So let's just flash back here. We're going to flash back to about 6 years ago when I was running my health and fitness business. And I knew what it was like to have success in my business. I had built a 6-figure business all from home, all at my counter, while raising my little babies, while they napped or while they slept at night. And that's how I built my business. And I was able to do both things. Yes, you can do both things. You can be both a stay-at-home mom and a kick-ass online entrepreneur. You don't have to choose. And I loved that. So I was seeing that success. I was doing what I loved. I was helping people. I was making an impact. I was watching people get results. The income was flying in left and right, higher than I had ever imagined or ever dreamed of, which was great. And I was on this high until I wasn't, until I hit this roadblock. See, I lived in this little delusional world of the entrepreneurial world of this delusion that, roadblocks and hard times and hurdles, they're just not going to happen to me. I'm exempt from all those things. So funny, aren't I, right? So innocent, so naive. So I lived in this little world thinking that that was never going to happen. And this fast track success was going to just continue. And it was never going to stop. Nothing was ever going to get in my way. That was just something that happened to other people. It wasn't going to happen to me. And then it did. And I wasn't prepared for it. And that's the first piece of advice that I want to give you if you are trying to build your business. And especially if you're somebody maybe new to business, you've never built anything before, you've never earned an income around something online or whatever it is that you're creating. That's that first piece of advice I want to give you, is that you need to prepare yourself for the roadblocks and the income plateaus and the hurdles that are going to come your way, because it is inevitable. It's going to happen. Roadblocks, hurdles, tough times, income plateauing, income dipping, going backwards. It is all part of the journey of being an entrepreneur. And if you have it in your head that it's just not going to happen to you, then when it does, because it's just all a matter of when it happens, it is going to be that much more painful and that much more harder to work through because you've put it in your head that it's just not going to happen to you. All right. And so put it in your mind that these roadblocks are going to happen, and put in your mind that no matter what, you are not going to quit. No matter what, you are going to keep working towards your dream. You are not going to stop. Even on the days when you don't feel like moving, even if it means that you freaking crawl that day, you are not going to give up on your dream. Because if you can't fight for your dream, no one else will. And you had this idea on your heart, you've had this vision on your heart, and you cannot let anything stop you from going after it and making it happen. So I made that first mistake of thinking that it just wasn't going to happen. So now I shared that little piece of advice with you. So now you can put it in your mind that, hey, it's going to happen. And here's the thing, they're going to continue to happen. It's cycles and seasons of the entrepreneurial roller coaster. All right. What I need you to know about these roadblocks, these income plateaus, is that they are there to teach you a lesson. See, you're going to be on this growth trajectory, not just an income growth trajectory, but a personal growth trajectory. And with each new platform that you grow to, there's lessons that you need to learn so that you can grow through them into the person who you're meant to become in order to build that 6-figure plus business that you want. Okay. And so as you hit these roadblocks, really allow yourself some time to stop and to pause and ask yourself, all right, what is this here trying to teach me? What can I learn from this? Because you will remain stuck for as long as it takes for you to learn the lesson that you need to learn. And I did not keep my eyes open to that, which was one of the reasons why I was stuck for 2.5 years at this income plateau. The next thing I wanted to say is I thought that if I was at this income plateau, I could just freaking break through it if I just worked harder. If I just worked harder, if I just spent longer hours working my business, if I just stayed up later at night and just sucked it up, my business would eventually take a turn for the better. My income would start to grow again, which is what I wanted. And so guess what I did? I started staying up later. I started 10xing what I was doing. I started getting less sleep. I was getting more tired. I was sucking it up. Trust me, I was totally sucking it up. And I was keeping the faith. And it still wasn't changing. Then I decided, well, maybe on top of that, if I just start really kind of doubling down on the personal development that I'm doing, that it will click. Something will click and it will be the answer to my prayers. And then it will finally happen. And time went on and eventually nothing changed. And maybe you're at this point right now, right? Where you're at this income plateau and you've been trying different things. You've been trying to post consistently on social media. I was doing those things. You're showing up on social media. I was doing those things. I was doing the work. Maybe you're doing the work. Maybe you're even doubling down on the work like I was doing, but you're not seeing a change. And the mistake that I made that I didn't realize I was making at the time, and most people don't, because most people can't see this. They need someone to help them uncover what it is that is really at the root of the problem. The mistake I made was that I made this income plateau mean that I was a failure, that I was not meant to create the business that I had envisioned when I first started. I made that roadblock and that failure mean that I was the failure. And then I started making up all these bullshit excuses like, well, you know what? Just be grateful for what you've accomplished so far. You know, you never thought that you were going to build this big of a business to begin with. You never, ever imagined that this business was going to change your life as drastically as it did. And it did. So what if you don't go as far as you had hoped? Be grateful for what you have. And that was like my out. That was like a nice way out to make myself feel better about it. But deep down, I had adopted this new belief system that was of any time that something doesn't work out the way that you had hoped or wanted to was a failure. And that in return meant that I was the failure. That was my belief system that I adopted. And so it didn't friggin' matter that I was staying up until midnight, that I was losing sleep, that I was 10xing what I was doing, that I was reading all of this extra personal development, that I invested in a business mentor. None of the business mentor training, legit like business training, worked for me. And do you want to know why it didn't work for me? Because my belief system was flawed. My belief system and my thoughts that I had in my head were that you don't really have what it takes to go as far as you had hoped. You're not cut out for this. Be grateful for what you have. You're just a failure right now in this. And it is what it is. And so when you have that kind of self-doubt, even if it's the smallest little bit, and like I said, I didn't know that that was really what was holding me back. I was saying all these different things like, I've just outgrown this. The industry is just completely diluted. People don't need this anymore. Times have changed, even though there were other people in that industry completely crushing it, skyrocketing their success. This belief system that I had, this story that I was telling myself was that I was not meant to go as far as I wanted. You're not meant to do this. Just get over it. For how long? And I mean, like I said, I was stuck at this income plateau for 2+ years. So for 2+ years, I was going through the motions, doing the work. I mean, I was hauling ass. I was hustling, getting the business mentor, going to trainings, getting on the calls, doubling down personal development, staying up late, 10xing what I was doing, consistent on social media, all the things on paper that look like would build your business, that should build your business, weren't doing a damn thing, because at the root of it all, I didn't believe that I had what it took to go as far as I wanted. And when you have that kind of a belief system, when your mind is wired to look at failures and roadblocks as failures, meaning that you are the failure, it doesn't matter what you do. Nothing will ever change in your business until you learn how to change that. And I didn't realize at the time that I was also the one making up these bullshit stories in my mind, because you are the thinker of your own thoughts. And I heard that quote one day and a light bulb just completely went on. And this is what we do as entrepreneurs and just in life in general. When things don't go the way that we had planned or the way that we had hoped, or if things are going great and then all of a sudden there's a roadblock or a bump in the road, what do? We make it mean something negative about ourselves. And what I should have done, and what you need to do as well, is to keep this event neutral. You cannot make it mean anything negative about yourself or what you're capable of achieving in your business. And so the first thing that you need to do is you need to tell yourself a different story. I was living with this limiting belief that took me 2 years to uncover. I didn't even know it was there. And all the business training that I went through wasn't going to work, even though it was working for other people that I knew, because I couldn't fix this root problem. I needed to literally reprogram the way that I was thinking and talking to myself so that I could form a new belief system so that going forward, my income would grow. And when I hit these roadblocks or income plateaus again, I would not be stuck for so long. I could just plow right through them. And when I stopped and I paused for a second, I looked back and I realized that I actually had been self-sabotaging myself my whole life with this one limiting belief of failures mean that you are the failure. If you didn't make the basketball team, it's because you suck at basketball. You're a failure. Or you couldn't pass the teacher test right away. You're just a friggin' idiot. Doesn't matter what you do. And I looked back and I remembered all these little stories growing up of where I got so upset and so bent out of shape when things did not go the way that I had hoped or planned. And I remember the story that I would tell myself, which is, you're just not good enough for it. It's not meant to go that way for you, which is total bullshit. It's total bullshit. I had attached that meaning to myself. And I made all these times where things didn't work out mean something negative about myself. And you can't do that. And so I am challenging you right now to start to tell yourself a different story. You're not going to be able to break through this income plateau no matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you invest in a $15,000 business mentor for the year. You ever wonder why some business trainings work for some and not others? It's because those people that it does work for, their minds are literally programmed and wired to have success and to think like high achievers and successful people. And it doesn't work for others because their mind just isn't wired that way. It's not programmed that way. They have that little bit of self-doubt get in there. And we need to change that. And this is why I tell people all the time, and the people that I work with, that starting here with this mindset piece, this mindset component of rewiring the way that you think is the most important thing that you will ever do in your business. It is the only way to see fast success to six figures and beyond. It is the only way and the fastest way that you are ever going to break through any income plateau that you're ever at. This is the answer. And that's why I teach this, because you're going to be wasting a lot of time and energy doing all these other things, hoping that it changes it. And then you're going to be like how I was, sitting there for 2+ years, where the average person would have just quit and thrown in the towel. I didn't, because I don't have that quitting, in my blood. I have that perseverance, right? But the average person would have quit and thrown in the towel. And I don't want that to be you. And I know that you want this to work for you too, as well. So I want you to look at this income plateau that you're at right now. And I want you to write down, what are the stories that you've been telling yourself? Why are you at this income plateau? What are you making this mean about yourself and as an entrepreneur and what you're capable of achieving? Write it all down. And then I want you to read it out loud. And when you read it out loud and you read those things, I'm just not capable. I'm not as smart as I thought I was. I don't have what it takes. Things are harder for me. I'm an introvert. You realize how ridiculous that is. You realize that you are really the one standing in your own way. And what I want you to do is I want you to cross out all those BS negative stories that you've been telling yourself that have been holding you back from playing full out, from being your authentic self, for showing up the way that you're supposed to show up. Cross them all out. And I want you to write down the story right now of what's happening. Just exactly as it is, matter of fact, right? My business has been plateaued for the last 3 months. Good. And now what are you going to do about it? Right? It's that first thought that comes into your mind after you read that. My income's been plateaued for 3 months. What's that first thought that comes to your mind? Right? It needs to be, okay, my income has been plateaued for the last 3 months. All right, we're going to work through this. What's the lesson here I need to learn? Let's take a look at what I've been doing. You know what? What I have been doing got me here. So now I'm at this income plateau, which means that what I have been doing is no longer working and it's not going to get me to where I want to go. So we need to change up some of the things that we're doing, right? And we need to constantly be checking in with our internal dialogue and telling ourselves, speaking it out there into the universe out loud to yourself daily. I am a 6-figure entrepreneur. I am a 7-figure entrepreneur. I have a great team. I make an impact every day. The right people are brought to me. The right clients are brought to me every day. I'm making an impact. I'm going to change lives. This is working. I will get through this. And write it all out. Write it all out and get it all out of your head onto paper. But like I said, if you're someone who has been stuck for a long time and you've tried all the things, it's because you have a limiting belief there. It's been holding you back. That's at the root of it. And here's the scary thing about limiting beliefs. The scary thing about limiting beliefs is that you can't see them and you believe them to be true when they're not. And a lot of times you do need someone to help you kind of pull them out of you so that you can work through it. And you know what? You can't help it. It's been like this probably most of your whole life, just like it was for me, right? And it's okay, because some people think, hey, you know what? Well, I just am who I am. This is how I think. This is just how it goes for me. Things work out and then all of a sudden it goes to hell in a handbasket. That is not true. You can change the way that you think. You can change your thoughts. Change your thoughts, change your life. It's as simple as that, but it's a practice. It's something that you've got to do daily. Daily. I work on this and I work on my thoughts and rewiring my mind and my mindset every single day. It is the most important thing that I do because it affects every single area in my life. And it's easy when your business is growing, right? When everything's going great and the money's rolling in and you feel fulfilled and you feel gratitude and you feel joy, it's easy to have better thoughts. But what about when the shit hits the fan? Where's your mind go then? What's your thought process like then? That's what we need to work on, because you don't want to be stuck for the 2+ years like I was. That completely sucked the life out of me. And it wasn't until I realized that about myself and I reprogrammed the way that I was thinking and made this a daily practice that things started to improve, because everything is energy, everything. And so my energy wasn't where it was supposed to be in order to grow my business and attract the right people to me. Because deep down, I had this seedling of self-doubt that I was a failure and I wasn't cut out to go as far as I wanted to go. And so this needs to stop and this needs to change. Before you go crazy here, before you throw in the towel on your dream and on your business, just know that you can work through this, but this is where you need to start. I put together a really awesome free quiz that you can go through. I love a good quiz. That's why I had to do this. I'm like, my people are going to love quizzes because I love taking a good quiz. But it is to help you identify where you're at basically in your entrepreneurial journey. It's really quick. It's like a 60-second quiz. It's going to tell you what your entrepreneurial persona is. It's going to say the things that you've done, the things that you've tried, and basically where you're at in your business right now, and then what to do next to grow your income to the next level. So you can access that at kathyreuter.com/quiz. I will put it in the show notes. But listen, don't give up on your dream. Don't think that you're not capable enough, that you're not worthy, that you're not meant to go the distance. You are totally capable and worthy of this. You are going to figure it out. You've just got to make sure that you're focusing on your thoughts. Change your thoughts, change your life, change everything about it for the better, and you'll never look back. So I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. You know I love you, and I think you're awesome, and I will see you the next time. Bye. Thanks so much for listening in. I really appreciate you choosing to spend your time here with me today. You totally rock. Hey, listen, if you loved today's episode, go ahead and tag me on social and go share this with a friend right now. Do it immediately before the day gets ahead of you and you totally forget. Couldn't be more pumped to be on this journey with you guys. Go make today awesome, and I will see you the next time.